like pride culture, to staple a new vocabulary to my cuff every morning, learning words that would satisfy my cultural thirst. Forget happiness. Cultural renaissance comes first, but the seeds of the sovereignty leaders' trees are cut from the branches early, sacrificed to the cause of the children. We do not understand the meaning of sacrifice, that prices are needed to be paid in order for anything to be saved, only learn that self-preservation takes precedence, but are given no tools in implementing self-defense. So backwards in our minds, we learn to tear our husk from our peers, had a curse from our fathers, and hate from our mothers. From whom do we learn to heal? Our grandmothers are the only ones who have learned to forgive, and we can't even speak the same language as them. So we race against the decay of textbooks, trace the cuts of colonialism in our skin, because the words of our kings have become bitter on our tongues like sourport. We rinse our mouths with our regrets, trying to find purpose. Learning sacrifice is a tool our mothers preach like martyrdom. It tastes the same to us, but is forced from our lips in different names. When do we learn anything other than blame? That shame is more than skin deep, but our mothers cannot scrub it away before bedtime. There is resentment beaten into our kneecaps like aiha'a, sweat respect at the feet of our teachers. From muscle to memory, we follow orders hella. Place tired foot on cold floorboard, kaholo, we kaholo. Dance, we dance. Practice makes perfect robots, so we dance for our fathers, our grandmothers. We learn protocol before nursery rhymes, perpetuate cycles like wildfire. We are the sacrificed, the lucky enough to learn a half-dead language, but not given the choice whether which tongue is split at the end of the day, and whether the splinters of the remains pierce our hearts or our brains. At the end of the day, are they two the same? If we are the future, does that mean we cannot claim our own present? I have very few regrets. Most notably, not being able to love myself through adversity while second-guessing my parents' decision to send me on an awkward path towards education. There are some things in life's lessons that I have managed to miss. I've gone through the equation, not able to simplify anything to come to any other conclusion than this: sacrifice is nothing to find shame in. Find only strength in the remains of my self-esteem, and the fact that I got through the system able to read. I find comfort in my ability to understand sacrifice and to know that it is rarely ever a choice. What I didn't understand then is that fighting for your culture is not sacrifice, it's duty. My mother, she grew up white in Detroit, 12 Mile, in the 1960s, where young children, privileged enough to be born on a certain side of the line, played Red Rover and picket fences, just a pebble's throw from 8 Mile Road. America's most defined city-suburb line, where institutionalized racism learned to procreate in a time where an integrated neighborhood was deemed unstable. Redlining was used as a restrictive covenant to determine where people of color could live and buy homes. City officials drew the maps and watched our cities sink into soil. And in these streets, the red lines still run deep. Like the feet of diasporic people flee in 2012, the city seems to be burning from the inside out. Realtors using our skin as charcoal. The blacker, the faster they burn, the happier the customer, who are not afraid to say, we want no color here. But it ain't just Detroit. It's Philadelphia, the 5 boroughs where our communities turned ghettos began to burn. Best believe it's the dirty South, Los Angeles. It's not like we didn't already know that racism had plagued every inch of American soil. At Stanford, we learn these facts at a distance. In our suburban cul-de-sac bubble, we pretend that diversity in our classrooms means that we have come far from our past, and that far is enough. We throw the word post-race around as if racism is something we have beaten, when we know we aren't even in remission. Those of us born on a certain side of the line remember the taste of race enough to identify what it is and what it sure as hell isn't. It's my ethnic studies teacher saying that we don't grow up knowing that people of color are represented in university classrooms. It's my white classmates agreeing with the statement, it's the brown bodies in the room that don't even need to open our eyes to see it. It's Oscar Grant's murderer getting away with involuntary manslaughter when you can watch the entire interaction on YouTube. It's Troy Davis, Trayvon Martin, the countless other black and brown names we carry in our skin tone and in our conscience. It is the language. Oh, it doesn't fit right on our tongues. It's the history books' accents. It's the process we go through to teach ourselves that this is wrong. Never learning how to fix it No, that would be way too dangerous. It would only darken the lines between us as if sitting in this filth doesn't. We play discussions with history as if we didn't even learn the lesson. And we have read of the lynching, whether erased from Texas textbooks or not. We will remember how black bodies hung in the deep south, white men fronting whiter capes playing God, making angels of young boys. We watched as their halos fell below the jawline, gasping at the cracking noise of bone to skin to rope, how something other than weight hung in the air those days. It is heat, it is hate, and it is screaming our names. So what happens when in Arizona, black, queer, Chicano, and any literature other than white is banished from the classroom to the furnace? How fast are we burning now? When you add the books, when all you can read are white pages, when will there be enough room for our black and brown bodies in this institution? There is enough white between the lines without having to banish the words. Can you see the smoke rising? The ink hanging, can you breathe through the hypocrisy or slice it? Can you taste it? How between 2008 and 2010, unemployment rose from 6 million to 17, while wealth held by millionaires in the United States rose by 18%. It is 2012. Some lines have only thickened since the 60s. The government is playing maintenance while we are burning in the aftermath. Our homes are ground zero. No one comes to visit. No one sees anything but dirt. But just beyond 8 Mile Road, there is a town where young children, privileged enough to be born on a certain side of the line, play Red Rover and picket fences. We can see them from where we hang. It is almost as if we can reach them from the darkness.